is Sandra, usually Sandy. I am a level 4 metastatic scalp melanoma patient who has had multiple surgeries, May of 2012 and May of 2013. It was recommended that I get chemotherapy and radiation, but other illnesses and my medical condition told me I wouldn't survive it. And so I began looking for integrative or naturopathic clinics where I could be treated as a whole person, my entire body, not just my cancer. I did a lot of research after the first surgery, and when the cancer came back a year later, continued with the research, determined to find some place that would take care of me, not the cancer, not just the cancer. I came across the Envita website, started doing more research on it, and had already checked out some of the other clinics like Cancer Centers of America, and Envita was the only one that worked with the autoimmune situation that I was dealing with, as well as the cancer, the detox for the heavy metals, that type of thing. I wanted it all in one place, taken care of at one time. Coming to Envita, number one, the staff is phenomenal. I think that the enthusiasm of everyone there, not just the staff, but the other patients, as you get to know people and stuff, helps to keep your own spirits up. And any time that you are feeling good about your day-to-day emotions, that's going to help with your healing. Because you got daily care and you always had people around you, when you weren't feeling good or they noticed that something was wrong, they were right on it. They were taking care of you. They adjusted things as they needed to be adjusted. One of the best things was to find out that they were one of the only places that tested the cancer genetically to find out what chemos will work against your cancer. Because too often, from my research, I found they just did standard chemos for standard types of, you have melanoma, you will get this type of treatment. You have non-Hodgkin's, you will get this chemo treatment. I didn't want that. I wanted to know what would really work on mine, and there they did the genetic testing too. They were also into the fractionated, they still do the fractionated chemotherapy, which meant the low dose to see how your body could tolerate it, and instead of just hitting you with the full thing right off the bat. So, and personal experience said, don't go with the full thing right off the bat when you have other medical problems. Do the fractionated to start. The other thing that was very encouraging was the T-cell treatments that they do, where your blood is taken out, they separate the white cells out to grow and stimulate your natural killer cells, infuse them back in you in order to get in there and kill the cancer that is there. And for me, that worked. I had a new tumor that was forming on the top of my head, and within 2 days I could feel the pinchy feeling is what I would call it on the top of my head, and that is gone. I just had my CAT scan and my PET scan. They're both clear, and I'm ready to go home. I know that the protocol that I go home with now is going to continue a lot of the same things that I had already been doing, while I was at the clinic. The thing that helps me the most in thinking about this going home and then trying to follow everything is I know that I can still contact Envita at any time and say, this is my situation, I'm worried, this is my concern, what can I change, what do I do differently here, and I will get a response to that, answers to that. So I'm not worried about doing it. I'd love to go home and never take a pill again, but that's not going to happen. That's not my life. So it's something that, I can go home and I can deal with it now. And besides that, I will go home, and when I'm taking those pills, I'll think about all the happy smiley faces I saw at Envita because I loved it there. I think the number one thing that I would tell people is when you first hear you have cancer, don't just accept that cancer and accept some doctor telling you that you need chemo or you need radiation. Do your research, do the books, do the internet, being careful which websites you go on, But do your research on all of that, and then look at Envita, because they treat the person in their entirety, not just that. They look to see what other viruses and things you have going on in you that has created this immune situation that made it that your body couldn't fight off the first cancer cells that you got. So the fact that you can be treated for all of these other things at the same time, and in some cases, I think people could even avoid surgery if they got here right away and opted to go with the NK cell therapy and the chemo and the get your immune system rebuilt, get detoxed, learn how to eat properly. I'd go there before I'd go to surgery next time. If there is a next time for me, I'll be back here.